Mohawks against school policy? Okay. First post and nothing huge or life-changing. But thought I'd share something instead of always consuming. Almost a few decades ago, in high school, some friends decided to cut our hair into mohawks to celebrate making the playoffs for our sport. The only problem was we went to a private school with a strict hair and dress policy. Several of us thought we might get by with it since sports were a big deal at this school and everyone was very excited for the upcoming playoffs. When Monday approached, we realized we were dead wrong. As one of our friends arrived at school, he was promptly greeted by the administration and forced to leave until his hair was back in compliance. He returned later that day with a shaved head, along with a few other friends who were also sent home. What was the policy, you might ask? It was your stereotypical collared shirt and khaki shorts, pants uniform. And it did specifically state, no mohawks. It also stated hair for males must not be touching or beyond the shirt collar, and must not cover more than 3/4 of either ear. Thanks to my undiagnosed ADHD and hyperfocus not allowing me to assume anything, I had done my homework the weekend before and came prepared. You see, my aunt was big into wigs in the 70s and she just so happened to still have a short-haired wig that would pass dress code. As soon as my first friend got nabbed, I pulled the wig out of my backpack and put it on. The administration knew I had a mohawk and thought I snuck by. But when they caught up to me in class they were baffled. Walked up to me and mouth open ready to pounce. Only to notice and start to take in my wig, in all of its horrendous but dress code conforming glory. Thankfully no bickering began, but you better believe that for the next month, they checked on me daily. The season ended, I shaved my head, graduated and thought that was the end. The next year, at college, I get a text from a friend's mom, who worked at the school. No words, just a picture. The new handbook now included 2 more words. No wigs. So while many may have left positive, lasting effects on their school, I will always be the kid who macked his way to the creation of a new rule. Perish the thought of alopecia sufferers being able to have wigs. Clearly too little thought went into this rule. Edit to add. Chemotherapy sufferers. 2. Depending on what kind of mohawk you have, you could just rinse the gel out and comb apart into whatever hair you have left. You'd probably look like Judge Doom when he took his hat off. But you wouldn't technically be violating any of the rules. Just wait until the parent of a kid with cancer gets their hands on the person who made that handbook. Never understood why boys had to have short hair. I've always had long hair. Such a weak and pathetic standpoint to have. Kid, what about toupees? Principal, toupees are fine. Quote. When I was in high school they had a rule about non-natural colored hair. So after the summer before my last year of school, having had post-box red hair all summer, I got my head shaved. I'm female and the headmistress was absolutely fuming, but technically couldn't do anything about it. The no wigs rule is eventually going to get them in trouble. Both as lots of POC wear wigs and people who have medical conditions. Either one could put the admins in hot water. They never think. School admins always just create reactionary policies and follow them blindly. There was a girl at my high school who wasn't in my grade but in one of the same classes I took. She has some type of cancer or tumor. I didn't know the specifics, but had to have a couple brain surgeries, leaving giant scars all over her head. She lost her hair from the medications as well. She just wanted to experience high school like everyone else when she felt well enough to go. I remember her being so excited after wig shopping one weekend. The next Monday, Walked into homeroom with some big bright Dolly Parton hair. She looked awesome. You could tell she felt so good too. Which is what mattered to us. This was a doable hairstyle if you had a couple hours and lots of patience. The teacher wasn't having it. She tried to explain. We all tried to explain as much as possible without getting too in her business. The teacher wouldn't listen and demanded she take it off. Not hearing us all try to explain the cancer situation. We were all mad for her. She just smiled, took it off and sat back, ready for class. The look on the teacher's face. I think she said something along the lines of, "I don't want to distract my classmates with my new hair. I'm sorry." The teacher couldn't focus. Just kept losing her place and staring at her. The giant bright red scars. Wig or not, we thought she was beautiful anyways. Many of us went to the principal before the bell even rang. The teacher had to apologize and said she was exempt from the rule. What rule we never found out. She just smiled and said, "But I don't want to distract my classmates," in response. The teacher left after a month. Lol. If only I could have my own MC so great that it ends up as my legacy. This is gold. Well done. Stupid policies need to be broken. A legend smiley face. Nothing about dyeing your hair, and let's notice how many teachers' blondes are bottled, how many male teachers cover gray. Lots of rules have someone's name attached to them. Because that person did it, and administration, management, thought they had to make a rule about it. The UMDFB 42 inches rule. No wigs allowed. No exceptions. Parenthesis. We were made fools of by UMDFB 42 feet, and we ain't gonna risk having it happen again. One cancer patient later. And I hope someone files a lawsuit against the school should a child with hair loss want to wear a wig. What assholes. From a teacher. Bravo. You know it's good MC when the handbook gets rewritten. Initially I suspected that the school would rule that a wig was considered a hat and hats were verboten. I suppose they took the path of least resistance by adding the wig policy when there wouldn't be any debate. Smart students and smart school administrators. I thought the MC was going to be the entire team went home for 6 weeks while their hair grew back. Assuming it was cut and not styled. Which meant there was no team playing in the special game. Thanks for a good laugh. To the Redditors mentioning medical and mental health concerns with such policies. Please note that OP specified, a few decades ago, but also mentioned texting. So this story can't really be dated earlier than the late 1990s. Up until the turn of the 21st century. At least in the US. School staff and administration in many cases didn't care as much about such things as mental health, medical conditions, or chemo-induced hair loss. And there were few or no protections for such students against the discrimination, abuse, bullying, harassment, etc., that were often directed their way by both other students and faculty alike. Terms like ADA, IEP, IDEA, SLD, 504 were not really in their lexicon yet. While nowadays no self-respecting faculty member or school administrator would risk getting caught engaging in such behaviors, there were rarely any such qualms back then, especially in private schools or boarding schools, which often had even less oversight than public schools did.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.